Hello, humans of the world. You are now tuned into Relayshons Podcast, where me and a new co-host just like you discuss our relations with ourselves, with each other, and our experiences. Are we ready to break the cycles? You know, the ones that live within our learned behaviors. Have you noticed the decisions you make subconsciously? The ones that lead you right back to where you started? Let's take on the healing journey together. Get on this PJ of unconventional conversations and let's travel all the way through our lineage. Then let's break the cycles link by link. Ready? Let's do this. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Relayshons. Hello, humans of the world. We are here again for another amazing episode. And of course, I'm here with another VIP guests, because, you know, they're my favorite part of this whole experience. I'm here with Giselle. Say hi to the humans.
Hey, everyone.
So Giselle and I known each other. Well, her and my sister have been friends since like elementary school.
192.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Yes.
they've been like toddler friends.
Yes.
And they just remain friends forever. She's like I think you're one of her oldest friends, actually.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've always known her through my sister, but we never really officially met. So this is our real official meeting.
First meeting.
Yeah, but we talk all the time digitally, and I feel like we know each other, right?
Yeah.
Like we're like
We DM through questions and
good advice.
anything that we can relate towards.
Mm-hmm.
So we've always had conversations, just never in person.
Right. So we were always connected. We just knew each other.
Always. It's always easy to DM you about whatever. Like, if I feel any type of way about anything that you post, I'm like, yeah, girl, I totally understand, because, and then we'll be on the phone for 8 hours.
It'd be paragraphs of information being sent back and forth. It'd just be so...
Literally from the morning to the night. Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, it's so good. So I love when it's like, you know, good energy and you just flow. So let's get right into it. We are taught to love and care for our families and friends. And since babies, we are conditioned to give and serve to others. But how can we effectively do so and set boundaries accordingly if we don't learn to do this for ourselves? I believe the course of this life journey is about self-discovery and evolution. So that's deep, right?
That's
like
very deep.
That's deep. No one tells us who we should be, how we should love ourselves, how you just love everybody else,
right,
and forget about yourself, apparently. But how do we heal? So what is healing? When you think about the word healing, what do you think about?
Healing. So I'm in the process, and it's every day is I learn something new. So I consider healing connecting. Connecting to myself first and foremost. I never understood that until recently, like a few months ago. I'm 31.
You're fresh.
So I just figured out I had to heal from whatever. There could be a million things going on. And how do I do that? Well, do I know myself? Have I ever taken out the time to get to know Giselle? Ever, you know? So I'm like, okay, so I have to connect with me first. And then you start educating yourself on yourself. It's like, you know, like that sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, but it's so
true. Because I bet I know more about my boyfriend, even my daughter. You know?
And she's a mommy of 1.5, because one is baking right now.
I know more about everyone around me than I know about myself. Personally, deeply rooted, you know? So I'm like, okay, I have to connect. And how do I do that? So I start researching and looking into certain things. And come to realize I have no idea who I am. Because I've spent my entire life worried about everyone else and taking care of everyone else. Whether that's like, I'm worried about my mom. What's my mom doing? Worried about my dad. My dad is sick. My sister's sick. You know, especially when people get sick, you're on them.
Like you have to put yourself on the back seat.
Yeah. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? When do you take out time for yourself? So healing for me is connecting with yourself?
I couldn't agree more. The healing journey. So the way I connected with myself, I remember the moment I came home from the gym on a random middle of the week, maybe a Tuesday or Wednesday. And I come in, I'm sweating, and I just like rush to the bathroom to turn on the shower, and I got a glimpse of myself in the mirror. And I felt like I heard this voice, and I know it's going to sound creepy, but it sounded like the Allstate guy. So apparently, to me, God's voice is like the Allstate guy.
Well, let me tell you, that's awesome. Because I love it.
I know, I'm going to sound like a crazy person. Whatever. I don't care. Judge me. And so the Allstate guy told me.
That's a comfortable voice. Like, I like that voice.
I don't know. It was a little scary. It scared me. It scared the hell out of me. But it was just like, you need to do who are you? Like, do you know who you are? And I just immediately just started crying. And in that moment, I knew I had to make a decision. And it just so happened that like a couple weeks later, I had to go to travel to California for work. And I remember the second day I got there, I brought my cousin with me, and we were sitting at dinner, and I was like, okay, so I'm moving to California. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? Are you drunk? I was like, no, this is my first drink. I was having like a glass of wine. And I'm like, no, I swear I'm not drunk. I'm seeing this with a sound mind. Something's telling me I need to come here. And that's how I'm going to start my journey, like for me. And she's like, you're crazy. You're nuts. We've only been here for a day and a half. Right. Like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I don't know. And so I know when I came back home and I started the process of like, finding out what I'm going to do with my job and finding out what I'm going to do with my apartment and going to California and finding a new apartment. And it was like a 6-month process of prepping for this decision, right? And I remember I was telling a limited amount of people because I knew that people would instill fear in me. Yeah. And so I'm like, I'm not going to tell anybody until things are like solidified, right? So once I put in my work, my 2 weeks notice at work, actually I gave a 2-month notice at work because I was in a high position and I wanted to like hire somebody to take over my role. I didn't want to just abruptly leave. Yeah, I was working for them for like 5 years. So I was like, I want to like give them a moment. And so I gave them a 2 months notice, and then I flew back to California. I found an apartment, and like I searched for 2 days, found an apartment, put like 6 months rent. Yes, girl.
You were ready.
Like it was like constantly. What I remember throughout those 6 months as I prepped is I never felt fear, and I never felt a question. It was like you have to do this and you have to do this now, because if you don't do it now, you're not going to be able to do it.
Right.
And so I finally did it, and then once I got there, that's when the fear kind of seeped in, and we could talk about that later. But what I realized in that process is I had to discover myself, and I spent a lot of time by myself. I didn't know anyone there when I got there. I went to dinners by myself. I went to breakfast by myself. I went to sightseeing by myself. I was left by myself with my own thoughts in this apartment across the country. And I know that's abrupt, and I'm not saying anyone should do what I did, because obviously this was a calling from the Allstate guy. Like, this is not, unless the Allstate guy comes to you and tells you. You shouldn't do it.
You're pretty special for that.
Right, like that was intense. But if you are getting this really hard feeling that you need to connect with yourself, because I was feeling depleted. The reason why I broke down that way was because I was giving to everybody. My family, my friends, everybody was getting. I was going to everybody's baby shower, everybody's birthday party, everybody's everything. Yes. That I didn't have space for me. I didn't have space to even like think about my own thoughts, because I was serving others.
Ready for somebody else. So when is your moment?
I didn't have it. And that began my journey. And, now 7 years later, it was the best decision I've ever made. I've more in tune with myself than I've ever been. I could do anything by myself without any fear. I've traveled. I went to Amsterdam by myself. I've traveled by myself. I've done everything by myself, and it feels so peaceful. And now I can better serve other people, because when I'm around other people, I cherish that moment. And then I also cherish when I'm by myself.
Right.
So you're even better with it. So healing is hearing the sounds, hearing the signs, and whatever is directing you. So how have you begun your journey of self-healing and understanding of yourself?
That's a good question. I also wanted to tell you something.
Oh, yeah.
That it's not about isolation. It's not about isolating yourself. People think you're running away from whatever problem, not knowing what the hell's going on, but they feel you're isolating yourself. No, it's about solitude.
That's a better word.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let me get it together for the better for all of us. But people don't understand. They're like, oh, maybe she's just running away from this or that or whatever they assume maybe the issue, which never is what they think because they're not you. So they have no idea what you're going through. So I see it as that. It's not about isolating yourself.
I need to look at the clear definition of solitude.
So it can mean a lot of things. I take it becoming solid with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need to be a rock for whatever's to come later. Me, I need to be a rock because I'm starting a family, my own family. One day I'm going to be a grandmother, a great-grandmother. You know what I'm saying? So what are my kids and grandkids and great-grandkids going to get from me? I'm the teacher.
Legacy.
So I need to be the rock now. So forget about everybody else because I can't be distracted. I need to form a legacy for my family. Who are we now? Because now it's not just who am I? If I'm not solid, it's like, where are they going to be? Who are they going to become? So my base is like, I need to be good for the rest of us.
Gosh, that's good. That is good. I need to become a rock.
That's why I chose this journey. And just like you went to California, I came to Philadelphia. A lot of people may say, you went to follow your boyfriend because my boyfriend had his own business here. You know, so he started his own business, which I applaud because who does that at a young age? You know, started his own business, and I'm like, we had to make a decision. I had to make a decision if I was going to be with this person. What was going to be the foundation? What do I want for us? And then for the future. So me thinking about it, I'm like, it doesn't sound bad. I can have a house, my car, a great job, and start my own family away from toxic environments. You know,
or crowded, right? Because it's not just toxic; it's crowded. It's
and crowded.
Yeah,
very true. So I told myself, God is giving you an opportunity to start something fresh and new. What was coming after, I had no idea because I wasn't who I am right now. I just knew I had to go. Just like you thought that. You felt that same way. I told myself, this opportunity is here for a reason. Because, you know what I'm saying? Why this person had to come into my life? Why this person all of a sudden moving to Philadelphia? Out of all the places. Away from my family, away from whatever. And it's like, I need to take this opportunity. Something's telling me there's something there. And that's what I did.
So that's the going trend. You hear that voice. Yours wasn't the All-Star guy, but it was somebody who told you.
It was like an actual person was like, well, I'm moving. I'm going to live here. And he said, whether you come or not now, I'm going to get you. Like, I don't care what you're doing, who you're with. Like, eventually we're going to be together.
Ooh, he knew what he wanted. Yes.
So it wasn't like, I guess I didn't have a choice.
You didn't.
but
you did.
But right. In my mind, I knew I had a choice. But he was already there. He was ahead of me already.
He was in his journey already. And he wanted you to hold on. Yeah.
What we should have together. I wasn't there. I was still clubbing and doing all these other things. So he was like, I'll give you your time.
You'll be back, girl.
But you'll be out. I'm going to come and get you. You know? So yeah, I kept telling myself, why? There's something here. I need to go for it. Let me go for it. And I'm young. Like, if I make a mistake, so what? I'll be back.
Right. And that's one thing I definitely want to really dive into is this idea of that people are scared to take leaps because they believe that it's like permanent.
I love taking risks.
Yeah, like people just like, oh my God, but then what are you going to do? And I'm like, the worst thing that happens is that I come back.
So what?
So what? Like you did. And actually I ended up coming back after 7 years. But nonetheless, like the worst that could happen is that you come back.
But then what people forget is that journey. That journey. Take the risk. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But you know how much you're going to learn from that risk that you took or the mistake, quote unquote, because it's not a mistake.
It's never a mistake. It's a lesson. It's a lesson.
You are always learning with whatever you do. So leave. Go ahead. Try it. What's the worst? You coming back. But you're going to come back now as a different person. And understanding yourself even more. Like, okay, so I know I shouldn't do that. I'll try something else.
You just pivot to the next thing and that's it. Just be ready.
Gosh, that's the best thing to do.
Oof, that's freaking good. Oh, that gave me like tingles and stuff. So what have you learned about boundaries, right? Because now you made this decision, right? You heard the voice, you did it. Yeah. Now I'm sure there's lots of voices, coming at you with questions and concerns and all this like thing that's trying to like seep through. So how are you setting boundaries to deal with that?
Well, boundaries are important. Like, I can't even stress that enough. I never had boundaries until I started my own family. I never knew what boundaries were because I was always so close to my family. We were always in each other's business. We didn't have boundaries.
Especially in Dominican households. What is boundaries? Like people are just like grabbing a boob, slapping your butt as you walk by, eating the food out your plate. Like there's boundaries is non-existent.
I don't know about everyone else who's Dominican, but
the Dominican culture,
I was raised, we don't have boundaries.
Yeah.
We don't know what that is. My mom didn't have boundaries with her sisters and brothers. Her mom probably didn't have, you know what I'm saying? So this is what they taught us. You could talk about whoever. You could say whatever you want. They're going to talk about you. You talk about me. We do this all day, every day. And this is just how we live. We come to somebody's house without even asking. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. Just knock on the door.
We don't have boundaries. Yeah. We don't ask questions. We don't care how you feel. We do what we want because we family.
So how do you break through that?
So now I'm learning. Wait a minute. I need boundaries. Like this is it. This is not okay. Too much has gone too far for me not to have boundaries now. And I have boundaries now for my kids. Because I need to block them from certain things that I don't want them. Not that I don't want them to know, because I want them to know. Hey, this is what happens if this, X, Y, and Z. But I want them to understand there's a line that other people shouldn't cross and you shouldn't cross.
And this is how you enforce it. Yeah. No one taught you that.
Nobody taught me that. So I made mistakes just like my family members did because we don't know. Not that we don't know better, because we know better. It's just that nobody's instilling that in us. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, my mom is not telling me, tú no estás supuesto hacer eso. You know what I'm saying? If somebody else did it to me, they'd be like, ella no estaba supuesto hacer eso.
Right.
But to me, they're probably not saying that.
Right.
And vice versa. Their moms are doing the same thing.
So that's why how it spreads like a tree.
So our parents son bien apoyadores to whatever we do.
Yep.
They're letting us do whatever we want. No boundaries. So now that I have kids, I'm like, wait a minute. My kids better not think that they're going to get it twisted and do, you know what I'm saying? Or allow somebody else to do this to them. At least I want them to know, no, there's a line here that they shouldn't cross and you shouldn't cross. So boundary is very, very important.
Yeah.
I'm learning that now, 31, because of this healing process that I'm going through.
I would say with me, boundaries, so I I'm not the best at boundaries either. Mm-hmm. And I've struggled with it for a very long time. But I've been like the outspoken person, right? Like I've never really been in my family the person to be like, oh, if I don't like something, that I'm not vocalizing it. Like I was very vocal.
That's your problem with boundaries.
Right. But what people told me about that was, or what they taught me was, well, when you speak up about what you don't like, we're going to be upset about it. Like it's almost like boundaries are not okay.
Boundaries
it's not okay.
Don't matter.
Yeah, so it's like, why are you speaking up? Why are you not just doing what you're told? Why are you this? Right? Why are you the black sheep? Why are you like I've been a big question mark my whole life, right? And my mom would tell me all the time, like, I haven't understood you all your life. Like even since you were a kid, I just never understood you, right? And it's like you're hearing that constantly. You start to think that you're weird or something's different about you. But it's not something different about me. Is that she didn't understand that I was creating boundaries. Because she doesn't know how to create boundaries because she wasn't taught to create boundaries. So then she gave birth to a kid that was making boundaries at the age of 3 and she didn't comprehend it. And so I was almost reprimanded for it all the time. Right. So it was a battle for me because then after some time, I just started reserving my thoughts, reserving my voice, and like that started to chip away at my character. And so I'm like, okay, well then I just say nothing. Okay, then I'll just go to a corner. Okay, then maybe I am not good enough. Maybe what I'm saying doesn't matter. And then that started, converting into depressions and like anxiety and self-doubt and self-confidence issues, right? Mm-hmm. That weren't really part of my natural being, but they were ingrained in me because of this constant criticism about who I was. Mm-hmm. And then now I had to relearn. It's like I'm trying to get back to who I was supposed to be from the beginning. Wow. And that's a huge process because it's like, okay, well now, you were taught to be this way and you become that. Mm-hmm. And then now you have to unlearn all of these things that you were taught to go back to who you're naturally supposed to be. Girl,
at least you had a base.
Right.
Of who you were.
And I think we all did though. I think that we don't remember it. I think, but innately when you were...
remember.
Right, because when you were born... You were who you were supposed to be. And then at some point you were taught...
They molded my mind.
They molded you quickly, right?
Into them.
Right. And you converted.
And I wasn't them.
Right. But you converted
I've never
quickly.
Been them.
Right. But you converted.
And you could feel that, that inside of yourself. Yeah. Like, I don't belong here. Something's off. I don't feel... This doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I always felt that way.
And I think a lot of people feel like that.
And unlike you, I tried to please everyone. Mm-hmm. I really tried to please everyone to be who they wanted me to be.
Yeah. I eventually did.
I did.
I eventually did. Yeah. I eventually did because I was tired of fighting.
Right.
Right? Because it was a battle. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done fighting. I'm going to just do it or separate myself, right? Isolation.
So exhausting. Mm-hmm. Who wants to keep fighting?
Yeah.
I don't like fighting. I don't like confrontation. I'd rather be at peace. So what do I have to do so that we could be at peace? I'm the one that has to come over. I'm the one that has to say, I'm sorry. Then I'll do that. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I don't have that big of an ego. Mm-hmm. Or at least I always thought I didn't have, but I do have. Mm-hmm. I thought I didn't have that big of an ego to say I'm sorry. Mm. But then you get tired of saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry for who I am.
I'm sorry for being me.
I'm sorry for who I am. Excuse me?
Yeah. And that's normal.
That's not right.
Yeah.
I should not be telling you I'm sorry for who I am. Mm-hmm. It's either you accept me for who I am or we cannot.
Period. Ija.
Right there. Right there. Because why aren't you accepting me for who I am? Why am I supposed to change into what you want me to be? That's your problem.
To make you feel more comfortable.
I'm sorry. That's your problem. And you need to work on that yourself. Now that's your journey and you need to work on that. But that has nothing to do with me.
That's straight facts. Oh gosh, that's
so many
facts.
times you can tell someone, I'm sorry, and then you think like, but why am I sorry? Because I'm being myself. And you're mad? No. Now I'm sorry to me for being this stupid.
I'm sorry that I freaking dealt with this. And then that's the thing, that we also have to take accountability, right? Because when we become very complacent to others, we create monsters. And so now these monsters get very used to you being this way. And whenever you try to break out of that, they're like, what is wrong with you? You're crazy. You're freaking crazy. And it's like, yeah, you're right. I'm acting crazy right now because I am done. And now I'm the freaking crazy person because I created you to be a monster. And now I want that monster to go away.
That is my life. That is my life. I created monsters because they saw me as this thing.
Mm-hmm. And they expected
that's the only image that they have. That's that one image. That one image. No, this is how she is.
But you helped build that expectation.
I did.
That's
why I created that.
You created it.
So I have to take accountability. Like, well, it's kind of your fault. You need to understand that this is your doing. Mm-hmm. You did this. It's not like they got this out of the thin air.
Mm-mm. Nope.
This is your fault. So that's when that process comes back, and you're like, I have to look into myself. Who am I? And you sit there and you think, damn, I'm not that person that they expect me to be. That's not who I am. And you little by little try and show them, and they still don't want to take it. Because they don't like who you really are.
Yeah, they don't reject it.
They don't like who you are.
Or they don't like it, or or maybe it's deeper than that. I think it's they just got used to who you were, right? They got used to the person that you showed them to be. That they're like, I don't want to learn you again. Like, people don't want to learn you again. No. They just want you to continue doing what you've always done in the way that you used to do it.
Right.
And whenever you step out of that, boundary or that circle of who I know you to be, now I'm like, who are you? Now you're a stranger. Now I got to learn you again. Oh, now like this is too much work. Yeah, there's too much work.
So that's a great point, because I have chosen to be around people who have the time.
And that's, you have to change your environment
and
to change your life.
As hard as that is, because I'm used to my people. I'm used to my people. These are the only people I've had my entire life growing up. Now I have to erase little by little, little by little. Obviously, because if I don't know myself, then I don't know them. So I'm starting over.
Yeah.
So now I only have time for the people who are ready to understand the new me. That, I don't even know that. I'm still trying to figure out.
But it's so much fun because when you meet people brand new and you are in this rediscovery phase, they look at you separately. Yeah. It's like a whole...
so easy, and you don't give a F.
Zero. I got 34 Fs to give, and I'm giving 0 away.
At all. What they think, what they have to say, how they look at you.
None of it matters.
You are so content with yourself that nothing matters.
You became a rock.
Yeah. And that is what I want people to learn and understand. That you have to be a rock. How do you get there? Well, you got to go through the process. And it's hard. It's hard.
It's hard.
Because I'm still learning every single minute, literally.
But it's so rewarding. And it's so freeing. I've been getting more and more free throughout the years, but like even now I feel the most free, the most at peace, the most like comfortable. Like I don't have to feel weird because I went out without any makeup, or I shouldn't feel weird because I said something and this person didn't get it, or it's like, whatever, you'll catch up one day, and if you don't, that's fine.
It's perfectly fine. And that's another good point. It's fine.
It's fine. You don't even have to get me, actually.
It's so fine. I don't understand. Like, before I used to be like, I used to want people to understand what I'm saying. Like, fight with, like, what do you mean you don't understand? Like, you need to understand me. Like, I want you to understand me so badly. You need to understand my point of view. Please, how many times can I say this for you to understand me? And now, I'm fine with it. If you don't, I'm so fine.
Amen.
And that's because I understand that I'm not on the same level anymore. And I didn't understand that there are so many levels to this. Like, I can speak to other people who are on another level above me, that when they tell me something and I don't understand them, I'm like, you know what? Damn, they're good. Damn, she's good. Like, I know her mind is way beyond mine. Like, she's...
But you don't judge them. You don't feel separated. You're just like, oh, okay, they're just on another level. I need to get there.
I think
it's inspirational.
It's very inspirational. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, I need to get on that level. Mm-hmm. I don't take offense to it or anything. I just like, okay, one day I'll get there.
Yeah.
So when people don't understand what I'm saying, I'm just like, okay, it's okay. It's fine. Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll get to understand me. And if you don't, then...
Your journey.
It's fine.
Mm. So how are you healing your lineage? Like, how are you healing this process? Now you're brewing a baby right now. You have one beautiful little girl. Oh my gosh, she's so adorable. That's running around. What are you doing to heal your lineage? And break that cycle? Because there's a cycle.
First, like I told you, it's not isolation. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to become more solid. Mm-hmm. Right? So I had to separate myself from everyone.
Yeah, which is fine.
It's literally me, my boyfriend, and my daughter, and new baby coming. That's it. I don't have anyone that lives in Philadelphia. I don't have any family members.
Sounds familiar.
I have no one but them, which is
actually amazing.
Perfect for someone who is on my journey. So... honestly, I'm just taking it a day at a time. A day at a time.
That's all you can do. And if you don't think too forth thinking, just at the moment, okay, what can I do right now? How can I handle this? The tests come up every time. So just try to at least pass them or at least notice that they're happening.
It's happening. Mm-hmm. I get tested every day. Because patience.
A hard one.
Attitude. Ego.
Ego is a big one.
That's huge. And I have a big ego. And sometimes I have to calm myself down and I have to realize where I came from and understand that's not what I want from my daughter. Because it's already in me. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to correct it little by little, every day. I'm
chip away at it, yeah.
Sometimes I do things that the old me, that my parents did and whatever. And then I'm like, I can't do that because Savannah's picking that up. And my boyfriend, he's so good because he's good at correcting. He loves to correct.
Of course.
He's like, you see what I'm saying? Like anything, he knows right and wrong. Very clear, which I love. Mm-hmm. So he's like the perfect teacher because he's not how I was brought up. He's like the total opposite of how I was brought up. His family brought him up like straight to the point, straight up. My family was not like that. So he's very blunt and straight to the point, and you shouldn't be doing that. Look, your daughter's watching. So that's a perfect teacher for somebody like me who's learning to undo everything I was taught. You know what I'm saying?
That's a blessing that you got someone like with you that's your blessing. That's what they gave you. They gave you a process.
There's a reason why this person was chosen for me at this moment in my life. As I'm trying to break away, he's helping me stay in this path, which is so important to me because this is what I want.
Yeah. And he's supporting you through it. And he's not being what's it called? You know how like people could be overbearing or controlling. He's like, no, this is your stuff, and I'm just putting that. Like, oh, you saw that? Okay, go pick that up, girl.
Right.
Which is so dope.
And he tells me to my face, which that's another thing. My family, we didn't do that. We didn't tell each other to each other's face. We said it to the other sister, the others. You know what I'm saying? We said everything behind each other's back.
Yeah.
Instead of telling each other, I don't like that you made me feel that way.
Yeah. We don't like facing things in the culture.
We never did that. But he is not like that. He's like, you did this and we need to address it.
Boom.
And that's teaching me how to teach my daughter. And it's helping me break away from that my ancestors, because that all came down the line.
It sure did. All connected.
I've had deep, deep conversations with my mom, and she tells me everything that she went through with her mom and what her mom went through with her. You know what I'm saying? I had to ask so many questions because I'm like, I have to figure this out.
That's so good that you did.
Why am I here now? Why? There's a reason. And asking my mom a million questions, I figured out that it's not my fault. You know, it's not her fault.
We're past
Maybe
faults.
It's not my grandmother's fault.
It's not faults. At this point, we can't focus on...
This is just who they became.
Throughout time.
Throughout their life. And they thought that this was okay. So in their minds, it's like, this is normal. What are you talking about? To them, I'm crazy.
Of course.
Which is why I'm so far away. Because they don't understand me right now. They see me as wrong.
Right.
Because I'm being different.
Different is always wrong.
Oh, completely. Trust me, I'm going through that process.
Yes.
So in their eyes, I'm wrong. And they're right. So I have to separate myself. And that's separating myself from my ancestors. Who one day I will see and meet.
They're going to be so proud of you.
But they're going to be like, thank you for breaking what we didn't understand.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Oof, that's a good way to end this. Ooh, that's so good.
So that's where I am.
So let's break cycles. Yes. Let's become solid like a rock in solitude. And let's really heal our lineage because this is what we're here to do.
We're leaving legacies.
Leave your legacy. Legacy.
That's what we're doing. So I already have 2 that I'm molding.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? And I want them to be the best versions of themselves because they're going to represent me. And I need to be represented well.
Okay.
So.
I'm embarrassed.
And their father. You know, this is where they're going to show other people, this is where I came from. These 2 over here. And I want them to be proud of where they come from. So.
Oof. Gosh, I have tingles. I'm lightheaded and everything, you guys. That was a lot. I hope you guys felt it the way I felt it.
Good vibes.
Very good vibes.
Yes,
Thank you
vibes.
all so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting me. Stay tuned. Many more conversations to come.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, girl. We can do this anytime you want.
This is so much fun.
All right. Well, laters.
Thank you so much for listening. Remember to subscribe and follow on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube at Relayshons Podcast via The Diary of MR. M as in Melissa, R as in Rosario. And now, the best part, here are the after credits, a message from my co-host.
We all have the power to heal, to connect, to give and receive. Don't let anyone take your power. It's all you have. It's who you are. And stay connected to who you are.